Welcome back. We're glad to continue these community conversations. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak with our Alma City Manager, Matt Schooley. Matt's been in this role for 3 years, but with the city of Alma for nearly 30 years. And Matt, we're so grateful for your service to this community and your leadership in this difficult time. Hope you and your family are doing well.
Doing well. No doubt it's been trying, but I think we've all learned a lot about each other during a time like this. That's for sure. But it's going well. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. The challenge of COVID-19, we all know, and of course that's felt around the globe. You've had more than your share of challenges in this time. The flooding now just receding, and are we getting control of that and getting back in shape?
Yeah, everything has really went back. The water receded rather quickly. We're definitely in much better. You can always look to someone else, and we sure do send out our best wishes to everybody over in Midland County and Saginaw County and what they're going through in Gladwin County. It's been one event after the other. It seems like I've joked with staff here, if the locusts come, then I think we need to start to make some different types of preparations. But we're getting through all of these. Seeing how you handle crisis is truly what I think that we've been able to develop as a staff here at the city.
Well, you've handled it well, and it has really been coming at you from all angles here. What city workers have been home through this period. Of course, we're going to see the end of shelter in place sometime. We hope that's June 12th. I'm waiting for the governor's order on that. But what's your sense of the rollout? Will folks continue to work at home in part, or how's this going to work?
Sure. Actually, we started this process about 2 weeks ago, starting to talk about what might a reopening look like. We formed a committee here with some of the different department heads. We've had a substantial amount of folks, especially in the administrative portion, that have been working from home. Our plan is that we will most likely continue quite a bit of that, limiting the amount of folks that would actually be in City Hall, keeping that number to 5 to 7 range, where we can make sure that we're distanced and working out of different areas. The current plan we're working on right now is going to limit hours as to what we can have folks even here at City Hall, making sure that our contact with the public is all done. We've built the barriers that would be on our service counter in the front. We do have a vestibule area on the west side of this building that we can really utilize so that people can drop things. We can make some contact outside of those areas, but that's a plan that we're hoping to get done here probably by mid next week and be able to roll out and get it on our website so everybody says, because we are hopeful that when we get to that June 12th date. Our plan, though, is to give ourselves one more week. So if we're looking at the 12th as the order is rescinded, at that point in time, we will most likely be looking to the following 2 Mondays ahead, which would put us most likely around the 22nd of June, where we would be able to roll out opening this building.
Well, and the rollout for the city, obviously another matter altogether as we try to get businesses back and operating. We see some of the downtown restaurants starting to open up for takeout and the like, and even offering ABC barbecue out there, and Braveheart's offering foods, any comers as they try to get back up and running. What's the city doing to support that activity and that rollout?
First of all, I mean, the community's been amazing. As I've talked to some of the business owners downtown to see what they've been able to stay afloat and how they've been able to handle the restaurants in particular, of which we base so much of our comeback in the downtown area on. So it's nice to see that folks have continued. We've had some internal discussions. One of the things that we want to really make sure is we can help them in any way possible. And I think as we've looked at what we've seen rolled out already in northern Michigan, or a lot of places as you're reading plans, there's going to be a limited capacity for any of the restaurants that open. And I think that that's going to be a big issue for them. So we've had some talks with the city commission of how are we able to help them by expanding some of their sidewalk cafe type style. If we can look to close some of the roadways to the side, Superior Street, it's not possible to do that on a long-term basis because of the fact that it is a trunk line. But using some of the side streets, can we do that would enable to build their capacity so they could have more folks there? Talk to a number of the business owners who say that as much as they want capacity back and being able to open, if it's limited, there's actually a cost to them. It's in their margins even become thinner. So we want to do whatever we can to help in that process.
Well, it's exciting to think about, that reopening. We had so much momentum, I think, at the point with which this hit, particularly in the downtown, and want to see that momentum recovered and get back on the path to thriving here. You're planning big things for the reopening, including Celebrate Alma Day. Where does that stand now?
We've had a group, as you said, Jeff, the momentum that we had built just prior to this with the Aspire program, I think was really gaining a lot of traction. It was nice to have the community involvement, and some groups started reaching out to me, actually rather soon into the pandemic, a couple weeks in, of saying, what can we do to continue things and where can we go? So we do have a group of people that have been working on the marketing committee, talking about, we're not sure when this could be, but we've put a date on it of August 15th of looking for a start to say, celebrate Alma Day in the middle, hashtag in the middle of everything, and being able to say, do some approvals through MDOT to get a closure of Superior Street, which would allow the farmers market to move downtown, and then to open up some things where we could recognize, especially some of the groups that we've had here in the city, high school seniors, people like that haven't had the opportunity to gain the recognition. Unfortunately, with the Highland Festival being canceled, took away some opportunity for them and for some of the contracts they had with some of the local bands and groups. But we've reached out to a lot of those, and we think that we can utilize them on a day like this. And so what we'd just like to do is, hoping we can get to that comfort point. August 15th may be a little bit early, but we've got some other tentative dates too that we'd continue to back up and see. And it's nice to see that we've got some folks who want to dig into that. So we definitely want to use that energy and keep it moving forward.
That's really, really terrific. That energy is really here, and we've got we've got great bones in this community, as the developer told me as he walked the downtown, and we got all the elements to truly thrive, and you can feel it. Beautiful city, lots of recreation. The river that we're working to recover and bring back, and and great entrepreneurs who are helping to lead us as we build the resources of the community. That theme you noted. And we hear occasionally that phrase that we're in the middle of nowhere, but we truly are the middle of everywhere, 2 hours from everything. Can you talk about the resources that we have and how we build on those at a time like this?
Sure. I think one of the interesting aspects, and I've been here almost 30 years, not born here, but sure spent the better part of my life here and raised a family here. We really need to continue to take that shift in thinking that at one point in time, Alma was a self-contained community. All of the businesses here, you lived here, you worked here. Times have changed drastically over that. When we start talking about our central location in the middle of the state, we need to really embrace that and say that what we truly want are people to live and raise their family here. The idea that you can drive, a little over 2 hours and be to Lake Michigan, you can be up to Mackinac, you can attend a sporting event or something, or a concert or anything down in the Detroit area, and yet still be able to come home here. That's what we really need to continue to focus upon. We have easy access to all kinds of places. We do have as you said, the bones. We have a very, very good base to start. We've seen an awful lot of revitalization in our downtown. We continue to build. There's not many communities of our size that have a college, have a hospital, have an institution like Masonic Pathways right here. Some of the manufacturing that we have that continues to grow and continues to stay committed to this community during very, very difficult times, still following through on things that they've asked. Some of the developments that we have moving forward in our downtown area, the plans for the old middle school site, which have been contentious, there's no doubt, but I think we're reaching a point now of understanding through some creative work between the community and the developer that we can come up with something that fits a need, which is really that missing middle for housing that allows. And one of the aspects, Jeff, I think that's really important that people understand, we're a time in society where we have a group of retired folks that are just retiring who have been longtime residents of the city who don't want to leave the city. We don't have any housing for them. Yet we also have younger people that we're trying to recruit to come here and live that we don't have housing for. So we have the opportunity to hit that middle, that missing middle, and take care of an awful lot of those needs in one. And so we continue to try to strive to do that. And so a city that really, as bad as times are and the things that we're going through right now, those that plan and really still want to make themselves go forward coming out of this, I think can really benefit and be stronger.
It sounds like in your time as city manager, you've come to embrace the notion of being a bedroom community. That's a positive for us.
Exactly. It's about living. And it's about, I think that the shift that we're seeing with people is they truly want the place that feels like home. I can work different places. And don't get me wrong, the jobs that we have here in this community are extremely important to this community. But we need to really emphasize the fact that this is a community that you'd like to be able to live in, raise your family, and all the amenities that are actually here. And it's not a bad thing that you have access to go places and come here. That's one of the great things about the state of Michigan, is that we have so much resource here in the state. Our folks should be more than willing to travel short distances to go there. And so we need to continue to emphasize that we are in a good place. And I think that we're all working through things right now. There's no doubt. But I think that those of us that continue to plan, and we have a really good, solid group of people in the commission and people who are looking to do that, we'll come out of this in a pretty good light.
Well, it's we're grateful for your leadership for getting us there, and I think all of us can see that just around the corner we'll get back on the track we were on and get that momentum going. Yeah, we certainly talked a lot about the recreational benefits that we have here and advantages that we have here. We were listed as the number two most cycling friendly community, and one of these rating systems in the country recently. How important is that element, all of the recreational resources, to attracting folks to come live in Alma?
It's one of the real interesting aspects that I think we're starting to realize about as you're preparing a community and trying to look to the future. You need to be open to see, what do the people of today want? As great as the heritage is, and this city has a fantastic heritage, we need to embrace that heritage, but we need to understand the change is okay. If you look at the possibilities for biking that we have here in this community, the park systems that we have, all of the access that we have to do things, that's what's going to drive people who want to be here. That's what's going to want, because it is about community. And what can I do by living there? What is still accessible to me right here? And I think we've been really focused on that, of trying to do that over the last, especially year. I think that, and Aspires has had a lot to do with that, as we've talked about the Alma Aspire program, of how do we make those things and promote those better, and make sure that we're putting the proper commitment financially and socially to those different rail trails and all the things that we have out here.
Hmm. And you've been key to the development of the Alma Aspires work and that strategic plan for our community. And the aspiration is nothing less than for Alma to become the best small city in Michigan. Can you talk about the importance of that planning effort and the work that's going on to support it?
Well, I think one of the things I say a lot is we need to find opportunity in everything. And as much as we're going through a crisis here, and the Alma Aspire program, I think, is what really gives us great opportunity to look. We are embracing the people of this community to come forward with their ideas. Let's talk about things that they feel would benefit this community, that will make us better. I think to say that we want to be the best small city in the state of Michigan is a fantastic goal for us to have. Embrace the things that we have. Understand that there's changes that can be made, and there's things that we can do to enhance ourselves. And the Aspire program is a great way to we have a lot of great local groups already working on things. All we're trying to do is find an avenue where those groups can now communicate with each other, and nobody's working on an island, and we all have some goals in the end. And I think that's really the key to Alma Aspires as we go forward.
Well, so grateful for your leadership of that group. I know this week you got budget for next fiscal approved. Can you talk about the challenges there? Obviously, all budgets everywhere are down now, including Alma's.
Correct. And as much as I like to continue to talk about opportunity and be as positive as you can, there are some aspects that are very, very real. We've been following close our revenue sources, and it's apparent that the revenues are going to take a major dip here. We're very, very hopeful that we can get some things worked out in the legislature and with Congress, that we will start to see some of those monies come forward to the city. We approved a budget on Tuesday night. It was adopted by the commission, which is an 11% decrease of where we were in February, of where we were deep into the planning process in February. And then this hit, and we had to shift gears, and through some really hard work with the finance department and all the department heads, we presented a budget that's actually 11% different just from that time. And that's a baseline. We're only using that as a baseline to start. We will be monitoring this on a monthly basis. If revenues come in, there are some things we can bring back into the budget. If we see that there's going to be a problem, we're going to have to even continue further. What it will do is change some of the services we're able to provide to the city. our commitment level is that we will still provide service. We're going to do everything we can so that the citizens don't have to really see a lot of that. But things like mowing and some of the different areas that we're going to have to get to are just going to take us a little bit longer because our resources are going to be pretty thin. But we feel it's the way to really look at this thing where we're able to manage and then make the adjustments as we go along.
Well, thank you for working through those difficult circumstances, and we're all facing them certainly, and we'll get through this together. Matt, thanks so much for your leadership of Alma Spires, of our city at this difficult time. We are fortunate to have you in this role, and thanks for taking this time today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I think that in the just about 3 years I've been doing this, the relationship with the college and the other institutions in the city has been strengthened. And I think that knowing that we're all on the same page of what we want to see for this community, we will get through this part of it and hopefully come out stronger in the end.
Thanks so much, Matt Schooley.
Thanks, Jeff.